in the book, I'll give mine, Voyager.
Okay.
Hey, you praised me. You praised me. And then Apocini, you hit me hard. You hit me hard. I was like, oh, that's not me.
That whole journey and that discovery and being like, oh my gosh, that's why I have a propensity to do this.
Yeah.
That's why I have a propensity to have this habit. Then to me, it opened this world of, wow, this is an awesome tool.
Hi everyone, welcome to Actualize Talks. My name is Gloria Njuguna and I will be your host for today. In studio today, we are joined by Dr. C. Hi, Dr. C.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
As good as always.
Awesome. Welcome.
Hey, I'm good. I'm looking forward and thank you for welcoming me.
Of course, you're so welcome. Now today, today I'm putting you on the hot seat.
All right.
On the hot chair.
Okay.
I want to know. So, you've written several books.
Okay.
Several books. Not just one, not just two, several.
All right.
I think about 5, if
Awesome.
I'm not wrong, excluding educational books. Sorry, excuse me. Excluding educational books, you've written about 5 life books that I know of.
Yes.
So, how did you come about creating and writing this book? For Actualize languages.
Interesting. All right.
Yes.
I didn't see that coming.
We're putting you on the hot seat. Yeah.
Okay.
So what actually
inspired?
Yeah. How did you come about to creating this book?
All right.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. Originally, I was a skeptic.
Yeah.
Okay. To the idea that people could be categorized.
Okay.
Or people could have a love language.
Yeah.
Or people could have temperaments. I was very skeptical that there was anything like that. You get? Because I was like, I'm an individual. Don't put me in a box. That was my attitude for years.
Right.
Because I was like, you're supposed to better your own self.
Right.
Because I saw it as not only being put in a box, but I also saw it as a clutch. Like I saw it like, oh yeah, you're gonna call yourself this so that you can give yourself an excuse when you misbehave, when you do. So originally, that's who I was.
Yeah.
Then I ran into trainings that began to talk about the different Greek ideas. Even before you get into psychology, things like temperaments. The fact that you can actually find that people have patterns.
Yeah.
It's actually empirical that it is true that human beings have patterns of behavior.
Yeah.
And some human beings have stronger patterns of behavior in a particular sector versus others. And that while we may have an entire spectrum of common behaviors among human beings, that there are certain nature it's nature, not just nurture.
Right.
That's what became very interesting to me.
Okay.
Now, why so I ended up realizing that, and the background of this comes from really the Greek and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
And so that whole journey and that discovery and being like, oh my gosh, that's why I have a propensity to do this.
Yeah.
That's why I have a propensity to have this habit. Then to me, it opened this world of, wow, this is an awesome tool.
Okay.
And I fell in love with it. And as a researcher, I fell in love with the idea of categorization of human behavior.
Okay.
And from that, I eventually came down to the 4 actualized languages.
Yes.
Because I also realized that when it comes to categorizations, right, whether you're talking about Ndoa, whether you're talking about the 5 love languages, whether you're talking about, a lot of them focus primarily on relationships.
Yes.
Passion and marriage.
Correct.
And the reason why most people may not be as aware is because a lot of them tend to be categorized towards relationships. So I wanted something that would be in the world of business, regular life, things that can be put into organizations, or just individual development and growth.
Okay.
So for that reason, I authored the 4 actualized languages to bring out the idea of categorization. So you get to know what's your language. language group, right? Your language family.
Yeah.
And therefore you can maximize your strengths while mitigating your weaknesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do the questions in this book, particularly this book, help someone navigate through life? Because you said you saw these books, like the Ndoa book, the 5 Love Languages or for relationships and marriage, right? But this particular book for the 4 Actualize languages,
Yes.
How do the questions in here help someone navigate their everyday life?
Everyday life.
Yeah.
Okay. So another thing I did, being a teacher, I created tests
Yeah.
that are that you can do online,
Okay.
right? And those tests, if you take the test, you first are able to discover your language group.
Yeah.
After you discover your language group, then you can begin reading the book. So the test is really the first stage,
Right.
right? And then you take the book, because it's like a movie that you don't want to spoil, right? I don't want to spoil the movie.
Yes. Of
So
course.
I don't. I'm going around it because I want you to go get the book eventually, and maybe we can be able to do an actual series on it, maybe down the line.
Okay.
Actualize feature.
Hey, that's
okay.
a new one.
That would be a good one, right?
Yeah, mark that
Get
in
a
the
big
video.
group, you know.
Exactly.
So that may be in the future. Watch
Yeah.
out for that.
Definitely.
But yeah, so the idea is, once you discover you,
Yeah.
once you discover your strengths
Okay.
and your weaknesses, you'll begin to understand, why did I trip in that situation? Or why did I prosper in that situation?
Wow.
And the idea is you can increase, because a lot of us walk subconscious.
Yeah.
That means we're not consciously understanding a lot of what we do.
Okay.
We're not conscious of why we are obnoxious. We're not conscious of why we don't engage in serious or fierce discussions, why we run away from them.
Right.
We don't have a subconscious why we like to go out to party. We don't have a subconscious why we like to remain isolated.
Yeah.
So we all have these quirks, right?
Right.
It's good to know, like, wow, there's nothing wrong with me. That is how God created me.
Yeah.
Now, how can I take those strengths and how can I implement them in different areas of my strengths?
Right.
So I stop living off my weaknesses, I begin living off my strengths.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And even some of your strengths can be weaknesses if not checked.
Okay.
Right? But how do you know that if it's not proper? There you go.
Yeah. It's true.
There you go.
I know it's not to spoil the book.
Yes.
So I will ask this question. Now, someone has done the test and they got the results.
Yeah.
And maybe, like me, I know I got the results. And it's not what I thought it would be. Or rather, I don't like what the results they say, right?
Yes.
Or what they read. So, what are some ways that you can show us to accept the actualized language that we got?
All right.
Because
yeah.
to kind of like break it down a little bit.
Okay.
So in the book, I'll give mine, Voyager.
Okay.
Hey, you praised me. You praised me. And then Apochini, you hit me hard. You hit me hard. I was like, oh, that's not me. You know, you don't, like, it was hard for me to accept. Like, wait, what? I'm not giving you what it is so you can go and buy the book and find out what a Voyager is. But yeah, I was like, I don't think that's me. So what are ways that you can tell us to accept the results that we got? Yeah.
Now, here's the interesting thing.
Okay.
It's good to also understand.
Okay.
They are languages that are your temperaments. You can call them your personalities.
Okay.
They are your language. And some languages deny their truth of their language.
Okay.
So there are actually languages, like myself, who's a visionary, who loves to hear the negatives as much as they love the goods. Like, we'll just take it. Oh yeah, we like, okay, sure, yeah,
That's
I'm
me.
bad there, right? But when you are a Voyager, when you're an explorer,
Yeah.
you may actually have a very hard time.
Yeah.
I actually have learned a lot, especially when I was writing this book.
Yeah.
I ran into somebody with a similar one as yours,
Mm-hmm.
and she was so happy when I was telling her the strengths. The moment she was, no, I'm not that, and her husband was her husband was like, yeah, you're right, that's the bad. So it's
Okay.
more about
Yeah.
your language.
Yeah.
And understanding that your language,
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, I probably in future
Yeah.
edits, it is actually within an explorer and a voyager's nature
Yeah.
to deny their weaknesses.
Okay.
So there's nothing wrong.
Hi,
It's just
Abasi.
yeah. It's,
I'm normal.
you're normal. It is just that
Yeah.
there's a denial
Right.
of that. On the other hand, I would also want to add that the negatives there is that people like to focus on the other people's weaknesses
Yeah.
rather than their own.
Then they're on.
So it's easy for
Yeah.
like, if you don't like your language, why is it so easy for you to enjoy the other person's weaknesses?
Correct.
So it tells you it's not really that it's wrong that you don't have these weaknesses. It is
Yeah.
that you don't really want to accept, because acceptance begins the first stage of growth and development.
Okay.
So that means if
Yeah.
you have a hard time accepting,
Okay.
it means that it might be a little bit more difficult for voyagers and explorers to actually
To accept.
change
Okay.
and grow.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
change becomes a big challenge for them.
Yeah.
So it takes a long time. But the problem with taking a long time to
Mhm.
change is that you may suffer a lot of losses.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how can finding out my language help
Mm.
in the real world?
Well, again, it goes into everything.
Yeah.
Let's use practical real world examples.
Mm.
You're a leader. You've been shouting at everybody because you're frustrated.
Yeah.
Why are you shouting at people? Why do you
Right.
think that's okay?
Yeah.
Why do you actually feel good
Mm.
when you do that?
Right.
You come to realize it's part of the weaknesses of your language.
Yeah.
It makes you a very strong and great leader,
Okay.
but at the same time, it makes you terrible and people don't want to work for you. And the moment they get an opportunity to leave you, they leave you. And you keep on wondering why you have a high turnover. And you
Right.
blame others for being weak. But the
Yes.
problem is that you actually don't have the temperament to deal with people. So that's
Okay.
a real life example
Yes.
of how, if you learn that
Yeah.
and you are a mature person, you will actually take that and say, you know what? I actually have an attitude issue.
Yeah.
And that attitude issue is connected to my language. So people with my language have a propensity to have an attitude and to lash out.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. C.
There you go.
Thank you for elaborating on that. And I don't want to spoil the goodies in this book,
Yes.
right? But I know you'll show us on how to go about the test later during Actualize features. That's actually coming up.
All right.
So you can show us how to go about the test, where to find the test, for example.
Okay.
He only does not have just this book, guys. He also has Actualize Purpose. Okay. This man is loaded. And then he also has the Actualize Coach Leader. So Dr. C, where can we find these books?
So all these books are on Amazon.
Okay.
Right. Again, I was not actually prepared to talk about myself and the books today, but nice surprise.
Yes.
You can find all these books on Amazon,
Okay.
right, on our Amazon store.
Yes.
Just Google my name, Dr. Casper,
Okay.
and you'll find Actualize Languages,
Yes.
Actualize Purpose, and Actualize Coach Leader.
Yes.
All of them have a test.
They do?
Yeah. All of
Okay.
them actually have a test.
Right.
It's supposed to be interactive.
Okay.
There are reflective poems. It's not a regular book where I didn't want to write a book where you just read through it.
Yeah.
It's a book, but it's also written in a way that is supposed to be enjoyable.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
It has reflective poems. There are places for you to write.
Right.
There are, reading through the tests and
Yeah.
what all those categories mean.
Okay.
They're really built. It's really built to make you a better coach, a better person.
Right.
And so I want you to go out there and get those books and
Yes.
let's build it up together.
Correct.
And I'll let you know with any updates that I do make or do. So for right now, they're live and ready on Amazon.
Awesome.
And have been. So
Okay, great.
yeah.
So I just wanted to talk about you today. It wasn't anything specific.
All right.
The questions were all about what Actualize is, honestly,
Okay.
and what we stand for. You know,
Wow.
we stand for purpose, vision, and making sure that your life is in a better place than what it is now. So thank you, Dr. C, for taking the time to even create this for us. You know, some of us, me included, didn't know how to even go about my life in terms of making my purpose or finding my purpose.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to go about it until I did the 4 Actualize languages, and I got to better understand why I think a certain way, why I act a certain way, and how I handle issues and situations. And it all came from reading this book. So honestly, take the time, go on Amazon, and I know we'll put it down below in the description box. Order your book. And I know Dr. C will be more than glad to autograph it if you're in the country. Definitely. So just with that, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yes.
Remember to like.
Yes. Like, subscribe, share, comment. And we're so glad that you clicked on this video to learn about more about who we are and learn about Actualize a little bit better. And with that, keep actualizing.
Keep actualizing.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Welcome to Actualize Talks, your destination for purpose discovery, setting vision goals, and fostering leadership growth.
I'm joined in studio by Dr. Casper. Dr. Casper.
Joining me now in the studio, we have Dr. Casper.